This week's topic is the morning after Tanabata. This event fell upon the 7th night of the 7th month, and was the one night of the year when the celestial lovers, the weaver maid, Orihime, and the herd boy, Hikoboshi, manifesting as the stars Altair and Vega, were permitted to meet. The ancient Chinese legend of how these two young gods were so in love that they neglected their duties, resulting in the Jade Emperor, the supreme ruler of the heavens, decreeing that they should live eternally on opposite banks of the River of Heaven, the Milky Way, was extremely well known, because everyone enjoys a tragic love story. The Jade Emperor did relent enough to allow the lovers to meet on one night a year, and their everlasting steadfastness had generations of poets all over East Asia weeping quietly into their wine cups. There are a number of variations in the tale about how the meeting took place. Sometimes Orihime crosses the river by boat, sometimes on a bridge of autumn leaves, and sometimes all the magpies in China fly up to heaven and make a bridge for her out of their wings. Barry Huggart, in his wonderful fantasy Bridge of Birds, published in 1984, adapts elements of this folk tale as a backdrop for the adventures of Li Kao, a sage with a slight flaw in his character, and his assistant, the incurably pure of heart, number 10 ox. In any case, Tanabata was an extremely popular poetic topic, and many different aspects of it were explored in waka. For these poems, the poets speak either in the voice of one or other of the parted lovers, or express their own grief at imagining the lovers parting. Koromo de no ukitsu ni nurete kaeru kana, asa fuku kaze mo namitate naku ni. My sleeves, drenched at heaven's harbour, do I return, even though the morning's gusting breeze has raised no wave at all? Akinaka employs familiar tropes and images in his poem to start off the sequence. One would expect one's sleeves to be soaked by the spume from the waves, whipped up and sent flying by the wind. But in Orihime's case, it's her tears that the night is over and she has to return across the river, which are making her damp. Hikoboshi no iwamaku rashite sanuru yori kiri tachikome yo akeba akutomo. Around the herd boy, pillowed on the rocky shore in fitful sleep, crowd, O mists, for with the dawn I should have had my fill, yet. Nakazane, too, speaks in Orihime's voice. She has left her lover asleep on the shore and set sail. She keeps looking back, still longing to be with him, as she says, knowing that she has had only a single night with him. That should be enough for her, but of course it isn't. And her sorrow is magnified by being able to see him, so she wants the mists to come in and hide him from her sight. Hikoboshi wa ame no oshide no yaegiri ni michi fumimado e mataya kaeru to. The herd boy among heaven's strands of overlapping mist will lose his way. Does he yet depart? Toshiyori, always original, has Hikoboshi leaving Orihime. She hopes, although she knows it to be a false one, that the morning mists on the River of Heaven will be so thick that her lover won't be able to find his way to the other side and will have to stay with her. Ukiwakare, sode furu dani mo aru beki yo, nani hadatsuran, ama no kawagiri. Cruel the parting were, even though she waves her sleeves, of course. What is it that stands in the way but the mist on the River of Heaven? Tadafosa, too, speaks in the voice of the herd boy. Ladies in ancient Japan, not having handkerchiefs or anything similar, would wave their sleeves when seeing someone off. Men would actually do that too. The weaver maid is standing on her side of the river, waving frantically as the herd boy sails away. But the cruel mist interferes, so even though he knows she's doing it, he's denied that one last sight of his beloved. Asakaze ni kawanami sawage, hitoyozuma, tamayura dani mo tachikomaru beku. The morning breeze brings rowdy ripples to the river. Wed for but a single night's brief span, yet even that to an end must come. Kanemasa's poem is ambiguous as to whether it's spoken in the voice of one of the lovers or is by an external observer. Regardless of who says it, though, the emotion is one of sadness. After a single night together, the morning wind, a hateful thing, announces that it's time for the lovers to part by gusting along and across the river and whipping up the waves. Tanabata no akanu wakare o omoi yaru, waga koromo de wa tsuyuke karikeri. On the weaver maid's longing-filled parting my thoughts do dwell, my sleeves wet with fallen dew. Higo takes a step back and speaks with her own voice. Putting herself in the weaver maid's position, she imagines how sad the goddess must be, leaving her lover behind, and weeps. The dewfall on her sleeves is, of course, her tears. Ama no kawa, kesa wa fuchise mo shirajikashi. Sekitome gataku akanu namida ni. The river of heaven, this morning for its deeps and shallows I care not. Impossible to dam are my tears of longing. Despite what it says on the slide here, this poem is of course by Daishin, and she returns to the voice of the weaver maid. Her poem is a cry of anguish. The goddess cares nothing for the beauty of the river this morning, because all she can feel is the grief that she has been forced apart from her lover. Daishin's poem is cleverly constructed, with a sequence of semantically associated diction, building on and reinforcing the sense of the poem. She starts with kawa, river, then follows this with fuchise, deeps and shadows, and then seki, dam, and nami, namida, waves, and indeed tears. This seemingly casual but actually careful attention to construction is a hallmark of good waka poetry. Well, that's it for Tanabata. The next topic is the night of the 15th of the 8th month. See you then.